what's getting really interesting in regards to the market is how much things are diverging in the market. This is something we really noticed in a major way actually in 2022. But this divergence is not over, and it's actually getting more stretched in terms of the divergence in the market. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average for the past 6 months, right? And look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. This is no bull market. This is no, things are great actually out there, right? For a lot of us, it feels like it's a bull market because our accounts have been going up, some cases tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars, right? And so for us, it's been tremendous. We've been loving this market. But the fact is the Dow Jones, factually, over the past 6 months, is down 4.6%. Now, usually in a normalized market, you would expect the Dow to be up 4% on a 6-month period, right? And in a really good bull market, you would expect the Dow to be up 10% in a 6-month period in a really good bull market, right? But the Dow's having a lot of trouble. Now, imagine, you got to remember also in the Dow, there's a lot of stocks that are weighted in there that are also these tech stocks, these AI-related stocks. What if you took those out? The Dow performance might be down 7%, 8%, 9%, 10% this year if you take out a lot of those big dog Dow stocks that are tech related, right? Microsoft, Apple, and a lot of those guys that are in there. You take us a step further. Look at the Russell 2000. Russell 2000 hasn't done anything for years, okay? It's been in a bad place since Rona. And you look at the Russell down 6% plus in the past 6 months. This doesn't scream massive bull market. And you could look at this glass half empty or glass half full, right? One way to look at this is, you know what this means? This means that the market's bad and it's going to continue to be bad, right? That's glass half empty. You could look at this glass half full and you could say, man, imagine when all these indexes start rolling again, whenever that is. The Russell, the Dow, plus the NASDAQ and S&P 500. Imagine what stock prices are going to be looking like then. Imagine what our accounts are going to be looking at like that, right? That's looking at it half full. So you can look at it either way. You can look at it from a bearish standpoint. You can look at it from a bullish standpoint, right? It's all about in the eyes of the beholder. You even look at the commodity index. The commodity index says bear market all over it still, right? This is a GSG, right? This is a commodity index. If you don't want to track individual commodities like oil, natural gas, oats and lumber and everything else, right? Just track this, okay? You can add this to your watch list, and let's let you know how commodities are doing over time, and it's also going to let you know likely how forward-looking inflation is doing. Because at the end of the day, when this commodity index is going up like insane, likely within the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to start seeing inflation spike in a major way. When you see it continuously going down and down and down, likely you're going to see inflation numbers continue to go down over many, many months to go in the future. And the GSG is down double-digit percentage in the past 6 months, over 10%, right? What a crazy divergence we have going on in the market. You pull up the VIX, right? The VIX, this is interesting because the VIX, while the Russell's down 6+% in the past 6 months, the Dow's down 4 or 5% in the past 6 months. Commodity index is down 10% plus in the past 6 months. Meanwhile, the VIX is down as well. The VIX is down 7.5% in the past 6 months. This market is death by 1,000 cuts for certain stocks, for certain industries, for certain sectors. It is death by 1,000 cuts. And then you go over here and look at the QQQ. It is booming. This is the past 6 months of the Qs, up over 18%. That is insane to see the Qs up this much and the Dow doing as bad as it's doing, the Russell doing as bad as it's doing. But guess what? If we went back to last year, the NASDAQ got absolutely wrecked, while the Dow was holding up just fine. And a lot of the Dow stocks, it's like if you held the Dow stocks, you were looking good. Meanwhile, if you held Meta, Tesla, Amazon, Apple, a ton of the other tech stocks, Shopify, Netflix, you were getting wrecked throughout 2022 up until the very end of the year, right? What an insane divergence. Now, look at this, right? Look at the weighting of the QQQ. 13% plus of the weight's in Microsoft. Microsoft's been doing tremendous the past 6 months. Apple, 12.5% of the weight, right? Amazon makes up a significant amount of weight. Look at NVIDIA's weighting, okay? Yeah, Google, McDougal, Meta, Tesla, these are all the stocks that have been beasting the past 6 months. So it's very natural that you see the Qs up 18+% in the past 6 months, because guess what? You pull up a 6-month chart of almost every single one of these stocks. All the biggest weightings in the QQQs, and my gosh, they're all doing amazing, right? What an interesting time. Now, You ready to see Palantir? You ready to see Palantir after hours, baby? You ready to see this? You ready to see this? 11% move for Palantir after hours, okay? Now, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised Palantir. I was actually, you know what was interesting? I was actually considering buying short-term Palantir calls. I didn't do it, but I was actually considering, because the way I looked at it was like, I thought NVIDIA was probably going to come in and report something way better as far as guidance and what people were expecting. Now, I was not expecting 11 billion. That's a whole other number. But I thought, okay, if NVIDIA comes in with this big number, okay, as far as guidance, and that proves AI is real. Because up until this point, everybody's been like, well, is this AI thing real? Is this just a bunch of talk and hype? The numbers NVIDIA just guided to show you AI is as real gets, and it's not going anywhere, and it's going to get a whole lot bigger from here, folks, okay? Up until literally 2 hours ago, people were like, I don't know about this thing. No longer are people confused. AI is for real. And guess who's arguably the most well-positioned for AI? It is Palantir. So now all of a sudden people are realizing, oh, this AI thing's real. And when Alex Karp, people didn't take serious what Alex Karp said in the latest earnings, right? What did Alex Karp say? He said specifically that he is seeing, what was his exact words? It was something that kind of meant like overwhelming, right? I think it was something like unprecedented demand, right? Something along those lines. When a CEO is saying something like that, he probably means it, right? And look how confident Karp's been lately. There's probably something big, huge going on there in terms of the demand for their product all of a sudden out of nowhere, right? And so when NVIDIA puts up the numbers they just put up, and then you have to start taking what Karp was saying on the latest conference call serious in the latest earnings, okay? This AI stuff's for real, and people are realizing it, and that's why the stock's moving. After hours away, it's moving, okay? NVIDIA represents, in terms of the Qs, right? Very popular, the Qs, QQQ. NVIDIA represents about 5.5% of the weight. It's going to represent even more as of tomorrow. And then AMD represents about 1% of the weight. So you could say, almost 7% of the weight is in those two stocks. Those two stocks are going to be up in an epic way tomorrow, somewhere between, NVIDIA's case is probably going to be up between 15 and 30%. 15 probably worst case scenario, 30% probably best case scenario, right? AMD is going to be up obviously in a substantial way tomorrow as well. So it's going to push up the Qs in a pretty epic way. And then you look at it a step further in the S&P 500, NVIDIA is over 2% weight, so the S&P 500 should likely see a nice move tomorrow as well. So that just pushes the whole entire market up in general, right? And on top of that, Trueflation numbers, I don't think a lot of people are looking at this other than maybe myself and maybe some of you guys. Trueflation numbers just hit under 3% for the first time. We have seen those in, I think, probably years. It's been a long flip and flapjack in time. Woo! What a time to be in the market, folks.